Okay, here I am. I have come to meet a friend. This man here, who is an innovator in relation to sources of energy, and an old friend of mine. So today we talk about ecology and spirituality and how we met and what this is all about. Yes? Hey, so good to see you. You too? Yes. Agrovoltaic energy. This is your baby. Yeah. You've been working on this for many, many years, bringing innovation to how to give energy, not only to the people in their houses, but also to the land.
Yeah.
So can you say something about that?
Yeah. Okay, what agrovoltaico is? Agrovoltaico or agrovoltaics or solar sharing is the sharing of the sunlight. So that means we use sunlight for the main needs of the humanity, energy and food. And it's interesting because at the beginning of this technology, many years ago, about 14 years ago, the first patent is 2009.
Okay.
And me and my company was a kind of pioneer in this field because no one in the world was thinking about this idea.
And you still are a pioneer.
Yeah, we still are the pioneer and innovator.
Yes.
So, and our main concern was the shadow. We have a little bit worried about the shadow on the land because to produce energy we need a surface. This is a panel.
Sure.
Photovoltaic panels that collect the sun of the light of the sun and produce energy.
Right.
But to produce energy we need a big amount of surface. So a surface means shadow.
Right.
If we put a panel on the land, you can see we have shadow. And what our concern was at the beginning, shadow. Then we discovered the shadow is an upgrade, it's an add value. It's not a problem.
Right.
Because some crops, due even to the climate change, needs shadow.
Sun and shadow, both.
Sun and shadow.
Yes.
So this shadow is dynamic because this panel are biaxial. They move in all directions. It's only the 3D system.
Okay.
So that means they move in any direction.
I interrupt you for a moment because the sound that you're hearing is actually the panels that are adjusting themselves to the rays of the sun because the sun is changing. As you can see, it's a beautiful day here in Italy, north of Italy, close to Mantua, and is getting really hot too.
Yeah, it's hot.
That's how much we love you.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, correct, Avi. The panel has to be perpendicular to the sun light,
Okay.
and they can collect the maximum light when this
Sure.
energy when this is perfectly perpendicular to the sun light. This is biaxial. If 7 minutes is moved to adapt to fine tune exactly the perpendicularity and produce energy that is dynamic shadow. Energy and dynamic shadow.
Okay.
Dynamic means change. Every minute the impact of the shadow on the soil, and this is good for
The
plants.
plants, of course, of course.
And we learn to manage the shadow. So this means we adapt the shadow according to the needs of the plant.
Okay.
So during certain phases, the plants needs more light. Other phases they need more shadow, and because it's biaxial,
Yes.
the panel I can manage the panel as we want. We can adapt the quantity of light according to the needs of the plants,
quantity of
moment
shadow.
by moment.
Yes. Okay. So,
Yes.
and the great thing about all this is that the panels are not on the ground. They are high up, about, I would say, about
5 meters.
5 meters.
It's 5 meters.
Which means that below you can grow whatever you want.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and this is actually something very revolutionary because one of the main problems with the solar panels was that they were occupying a lot of agricultural land, and that was not, the land was then not available to be actually used. So here we are in the middle, for example, of apple trees. apple trees that at some point I see even some little apples in some of the
Yeah.
of the trees, even though they're very young.
Yeah.
So this is, and then there is another thing, if I remember well, that there is also a kind of possibility that through computers you can actually use machinery and drive machineries on the ground.
Yeah, this machine, machine, the tracker,
Yeah,
is controlled by an electronic board that I can manage in remote
Yeah,
in my office, for example, or with a sample
with a
iPhone.
telephone. Yeah.
Okay, very smart way to manage, and this is a Wi-Fi information. That means
Okay.
each machine communicate with the other machine in Wi-Fi. So this Wi-Fi, this electronic board, can be used for manage, for example, agricultural machine
Right.
without any drivers.
Without any drivers. Yes.
So, and this the higher of the system allow all the kind of machine system to
go
work
through.
underneath.
To go through.
Okay, no limits for the agricultural machine. So we are in the apple, we have other plants here, kiwi, and then even crops like wheat or maize, corn,
Yeah.
or grass for cow. Any kind of crops can be cultivated underneath.
Okay, let me come to something a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did we meet? I remember that was a very long time ago. And can you say something about that?
Yeah. Yeah. It was more than 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I read an advertising regarding an intensive retreat, and I was very engaged with intensity at the time, and for me was like in a magnet. And I arrived in this retreat. You was
The facilitator.
the master,
Yes,
the leader of
the
this retreat,
facilitator,
and
yes.
I meet you in this retreat. 7 days, it's a Satori retreat, and became one of my preferable favorites retreat. And
Okay, let me give you an idea, one moment, of Ramdas when he arrived to this retreat. So first of all, he arrived wearing all black.
yeah,
Yes, and was not only wearing black, he was also black. You know, there was something very dark and very tired and very exhausted, and somehow, in a way, also not very. There was not much contactfulness. Was not so easy, you know, and yet I know that space myself very well. And so I was actually very intrigued, and I really found, okay, how can I establish a connection with this human being? And in fact, it was not so difficult because we are very similar in certain ways.
Apart that you like to, you told me, please, you can go away if you not agree with this
Structure.
this structure, and you are working very well. I remember you are working. You are in time. You do the meditation, but you are not here. You have to open your heart. What is say? Yes, if you don't agree, you can leave it. I remember very well this. For me, it was like a fight,
A challenge.
a challenge for me. And I say, okay, I stay here just the last minute.
Yes.
I will stay here. Okay.
Yes.
And really, for me, was the first big change in my life. That first retreat for me.
And I must confess that I was a little bit of a bastard in that situation because I knew that the challenge would work for you. And I knew that there was a very high possibility that you would get actually more engaged out of being challenged and say, like, wait a minute, you know, you're great, you're doing fantastic, and your heart is not opening. And so, because I know that has been working for me in the past, so I had the feeling that there was a very good possibility.
Yeah, and for me was very, very, very good, very hard. In the meantime, is something that I remember very well. One of the first turn of my life,
Right. Yes. Big turning.
big turning of my life.
A theme that is absolutely unavoidable and fundamental in this moment for humanity is ecology. And in our case, ecology and spirituality. Somehow, for some reason, people don't tend to put together these two themes, ecology and spirituality. And yet, in my own experience, there cannot be really a spirituality that does not take care of the planet we live on. Because who we are in this moment, Ramdas and Avikal and our gentle person that is doing the recording, which is called Alessandro, and is right there in front of us. We need to take care of this planet because this planet is where we live. And this planet is what not only gives us sustenance, but this gives us the possibility to explore a fundamental thing that has to do with the spirituality, which is our uniqueness. Like every plant, every leaf is completely unique. In the same way, each human being is a unique gift to this planet. And to be able to explore it, we need to stay in our body. We need to stay in good health. We need to breathe good air. We need to stay in touch with the ground and feel the grounding and the support. So for me, this understanding that we need to be proactive in working with resources and ecology is absolutely central to a real spiritual life.
Yeah, I am totally agree. There is no difference between spirituality and ecology. For me, it's the same. There is no difference, but unfortunately, the society is working on ecology like business. Okay, they are all the big companies are doing big investments in renewable energy, for example, and they have a very beautiful balance sheet, ethical balance sheet. They are speaking a lot about this stuff, but in fact, their main goal is profit. Okay, when the main goal is profit, the other stuff
Yes, at
becomes
the bottom,
secondary. So
at
the
the
environment
bottom.
is secondary, the sociality is secondary, spirituality is not secondary. Is the last one problem that I have. Even the humanity is secondary because profit is the first.
Right.
So our approach, my personal approach, but even if my company, is that profit is the side effect of the ecology, external and internal
And
ecology.
internal ecology as well.
So this means it's something that you must take in consideration because otherwise our species, human species, in the next decades or next century will disappear on this planet. And the planet is no problem for the planet. The planet can renewable itself. Maybe it's better because we are like parasites for the planet.
Ah, yes, we are. And we are also a unique expression of consciousness.
Yeah.
In the sense that as a species, we are reaching a place where there is a true possibility that we can, at the same time, express our individuality through the understanding of our uniqueness. So we don't need to hide who am I and how do I live and what is love for me and how do I exist. In fact, I can participate and contribute with the unique gifts that I have, and in the same time, and that's even more challenging, we can put together all these uniquenesses and create a lot of richness, abundance of intelligence, of lovingness, of friendliness, and this is a big step that humanity. I mean, of course, we desire that humanity, we first of all want ourselves to take it, and we take it day after day, or at least we try to take it day after day, because in some moments we might not be completely able to. But the question is also communities. Communities, and this is also a lot about communities. Like how do we use the land? What kind of plants we put in there? How do we produce energy and so on? This is not just an individual problem. It's a collective problem.
Absolutely. Yeah, is this the, the target is how we can personally participate to this changement.
Yes.
And for me now it's a little bit clearer than a few years ago when I started with this project. For me, it was clear in some way that this technology had it was the seed for a huge use of this technology, and it was 12, 30 years ago. Now this is real. All in the world, the people in renewable field are speaking about agrivoltaics. And when I work on many years ago on this, for me it was clear this is something bigger than my personal guadagno, my personal income.
Yes.
It was very clear that something was very deep in me, something that arrived from my being, from my soul. I don't know exactly what the name I can give of this, but was clear that it's something much more big of my little target, little needs. It's not about my company. And now this is the reality. All this technology, not our specific technology, agrovoltaic technology is something that is very, very famous in the world in the last 3-4 years, not much more than this.
Ramdas.
Avi.
Grazie caro, 20 anni,
20 anni.
20 years together. And yes. And okay, let's go and have a glass of water.
Yeah.